The brutality of the Capitol riot did not end on January 6th. 4 police officers who fought the violent mob took their own lives after the attack. In an exclusive interview with CBS News, the widow of one of those officers is talking about the battle she has waged in the 14 months since her husband's death. CBS News' Scott MacFarlane has the story.
Jeff was funny. He was a jokester.
D.C. police officer Jeff Smith had a family he loved, a dog he loved, and his wife Erin told us a career he loved.
Being a police officer, it was his calling.
He knew that's what he wanted to do, and that's what he should be doing.
He did.
But he had no idea what awaited him on January 6, 2021, when he and his riot unit raced to the Capitol. Body camera footage obtained by CBS News reveals Jeff arrived on the front lines as rioter Ashley Babbitt was shot and killed while trying to breach a smashed window near the U.S. House floor.
They were in the hallway, and the first thing that he could remember hearing was shots fired.
How did he characterize it?
He characterized January 6th as the worst day of his life.
After hours fighting off the mob, Erin says Jeff returned home in the early morning with a black eye and in an even darker mood.
I went to sleep, and then the next day, his demeanor changed, and he was never the same.
What changed?
He didn't want to talk. He was pacing at night and during the day.
Sleeplessness?
Sleeplessness. The jokes stopped. The dancing around the house stopped.
Jeff went to the police medical clinic the night of the attack to report a blow to the head. But notes from a follow-up visit a week later, reviewed by CBS News, do not show he was asked about his mental health. And then one night, Erin says she woke up to find him crying in bed.
What did you think was going on?
Truthfully, I wasn't sure. I tried to console him, tell him everything was going to be okay. I just told him that I loved him and that we'll get through whatever this is.
9 days after January 6th, Jeff Smith took his own life, one of 4 officers who died by suicide in the 7 months after responding to the attack.
I think the physical attack on him changed him. And if he didn't go to work that day, he'd still be here.
It was just the beginning of Erin's loss. Like most jurisdictions, D.C. did not consider any suicide a line-of-duty death, denying Erin much of the family's income, health insurance, and ceremonial honors. Capitol Police Officer Brian Sicknick suffered fatal strokes the day after January 6th, ruled a line-of-duty death he laid in state, while Erin Smith received nothing.
No notes, no recognition, nothing from the city, nothing from the department. And it's hurtful and it's sad that they can't even reach out to the widow of one of their own officers.
It literally stops. The pace stops 30 days after the death.
With the help of attorney David Weber, Smith decided to fight D.C. on its decision. Weber said the burden was on them to make the case January 6th caused Jeff's death. They say they found the proof in Jeff's body cam footage.
And you see he's getting jostled here.
He's getting jostled.
Slowed down, Weber contends the video shows someone in the mob seized Jeff's baton, allegedly striking him with it.
Right there, it's gone. And now you're going to see him fall backwards.
Then there's this. Now outside the Capitol, a metal pole sails in from the crowd, hitting Jeff head on. He took shelter in a stairwell.
Are you hurt? Yeah, probably like a metal pole, bam, right in my face.
There was a physical injury that took place here. We are able to prove that he suffered a traumatic brain injury.
It was more than a year until D.C. agreed. Earlier this month, Erin received this letter declaring Jeff died from an injury sustained while performing his duties on January 6th.
Why do you think it took so long for the District of Columbia to determine that?
With a suicide comes a stigma and something that the police department doesn't want to face or recognize.
I think she's a hero.
Illinois Democrat Tammy Duckworth and Texas Republican John Cornyn say they hope this ruling lays down a marker for the 3 other officers who died by suicide after the 6th.
It was a traumatic event, and I think it's entirely appropriate that the law enforcement officials be covered.
And for police families nationwide, the 2 senators have introduced legislation to allow for line-of-duty death designations when police officers take their own lives. More than 750 officers have died by suicide since 2017.
The military has made this pivot, understanding that injuries to the brain, to the psyche, is just as important as an injury to the body.
Erin Smith is advocating for the bill.
What do you think Jeff would say about this issue?
I believe he would be proud of me right now. I'm fighting for my husband, but I'm also fighting for everyone else who has gone through this as well. And it deserves the recognition.
If the legislation passes for officers who died by suicide after January 1st, 2019, there'd be line of duty benefits. The D.C. Police Department and the mayor of D.C. did not comment for our report. As for Erin Smith, she says she has not brought herself to watch that body cam video from her husband, saying, quote, "I relive it every day." Scott MacFarlane, CBS News, the Capitol.
Senator Tammy Duckworth from Illinois joins us now. Senator, it's great to see you. Explain for our audience the transition the U.S. military went through on this issue, assessing suicide as linked to battlefield trauma. It wasn't easy for the military. There was resistance. Let the audience understand how that happened.
Well, it wasn't easy for the military. The military underwent 22 deaths by suicide a day for a decade. And part of this was because they were not addressing the hidden traumas of war in the way that they should. And in fact, there was a whole bunch of steps that prevented them from providing these benefits. I mean, one of the things that happened was they were telling service members, hey, if you admit to having had a brain injury or a trauma or post-traumatic stress, we're going to stand you down and you can't do your job and you can't be deployed. If you're a pilot, you can't fly. This is happening to police officers as well. You can't do their job. So you don't want to let your buddies down. So people were not reporting. So we had to take away that stigma. Then we had to collect the data. There was this argument in the military that, well, all sorts of guys, malingerers, are going to claim that they have post-traumatic stress when they really don't. They just don't want to do their jobs. If we allow this to happen, there's going to be this whole, epidemic of people falsely claiming to have post-traumatic stress. That didn't happen. We're getting the same types of arguments from folks who oppose this bill. And we have 20 years of data now from DOD that those things are not going to happen, that our public service officers need the help when they need the help, and we need to recognize it so that they can get treated. And God forbid, if they die by suicide, they and their family members deserve the benefits because they were injured on duty.
Senator, you mentioned, I'm really glad you did, the centrality of data as the Pentagon evaluated this over many, many years. Now, my understanding, I did some looking into this today, data is somewhat fluid on police suicides. They're not as tracked as carefully as they are in other professions, but it appears suicides within law enforcement generally claim more lives than actual on-duty deaths. What have you and your staff learned, and what are the implications of the numbers you see related to law enforcement suicides?
Well, what I see is for the suicides is that we also have officers who are suffering who are not getting treatment, and they don't get treatment for long enough that it does eventually, for some of them, end with where they do lose their life by suicide. But it also impairs the officers during their time of duty as well. And so you see folks returning to duty before they should be going back to duty because they have a brain injury, either a traumatic one that's a physical injury or an emotional one, both of which need to be taken care of. And so we have to change how we look at these types of injuries so that we can get our police officers the support that they need, the treatment that they need so that they can return back to duty, so that they don't get driven to a point where they die by suicide. And by the way, there is this, as you mentioned, this underreporting of deaths by suicide. Some of these police officers may be dying by suicide and we just don't know it because they did such a good job of it because they were trying to protect their families to make sure that there's not a stigma to their death so that their families will get benefits. And so by making sure that we take care of them, we can prevent them getting to the point where they do end up taking their own lives.
As Scott MacFarlane's piece pointed out, you're working with Senator John Cornyn, Texas Republican, on this legislation to extend benefits to officers in this place. How would this work save lives? And have you gotten any pushback on the cost or policy implications from states or municipalities?
Well, there are some cost implications. I think a lot of states and municipalities, the reason that they are objecting to this is not because they don't recognize that police officers and first responders have undergo post-traumatic stress as a result of the acute actions that they face or an incident that they face on the job. What they're afraid of is that they don't have the funds to pay for this. One of the things that I've had a discussion with my colleagues on in a bipartisan way is perhaps if we can do it where if the person received the injury, as Officer Smith did, on incident that was in support of the federal government, that we provide federal funds to local law enforcement, like the District of Columbia for compensating the family. So there is some fund, that there are some funds there. But bottom line, if you're willing to compensate an officer for a bullet to the arm or being injured, on the job, you should be willing to compensate them for being injured, having an injury to their brain. It's the same type of thing. They're still being injured. We still need to take care of them. They responded when we call, when you call 911, they respond. We need to be there to help them when they need help.
Senator Duckworth, real quick political question before I let you go. Chicago is going to put a bid, it says, in for the Democratic National Convention 2024. Will it win it?
Oh, yeah. I can't think of a better place. We have the convention centers. We have the skilled labor. We have all the hotels and the facilities. And we're located in the middle of the country with one of the busiest airports in the country. And we have 2 airports. We're uniquely suited to host a convention. I hope we win the bid.
You are not undecided on that, Senator.
I am helping lead the effort.
Very good. Senator Duckworth, thanks for your time. Thank you very much.